Hello, it's Patricia Warby, Alchemy Therapies here, and today I want to talk about haptic vibrotactic technology, or VTT. What are haptics? Haptics are anything that uses sensory stimulation to change brain information. And in this case, it's to do with touch sensations. Now, as you may or may know, at Alchemy Therapies, I use a lot of self-soothing techniques that use touch, sometimes tapping, sometimes a self-soothing kind of stroking down the arms. But there's something new out there that I really want to introduce you to today. And this is like Braille for the brain, okay? Hold on to that phrase. These are the super patches, which is, and there are a whole variety of them, let me tell you. And these are a new technology that actually goes onto your skin. I'm wearing one now. I'm going to just peel it off very, very quickly and show you. I don't know if you can see that, but there's maybe on the other side it'd be easier to see. There's a sort of ridging. It's like a QR code that changes information from your skin through ion channels in your nervous system up to your brain and rebalances your autonomic nervous system. Now, the autonomics are so vital. I've done a lot of recordings on the autonomics, which I'm not going to repeat in detail here, but just to remind you, the autonomic nervous system controls everything that goes on behind the scenes: your breathing, your heart rate, your digestion. And if your nervous system gets out of balance, it creates all kinds of myriad symptoms that seem confusing, distressing, and unexplained, like insomnia, brain fog, pain that doesn't go away, fatigue that doesn't get better with rest. These are the kinds of conditions that I work with people all the time, in chronic states of inflammation and dysregulation. What if there was a technology that you could apply relatively cheaply and simply that would change the information flow to your brain and change your autonomic balance? Well, I think it's here. I'm certainly trialing it at the moment. The super patches are an invention probably in the last year and a half. It's a company that there's a technological team behind it, but there's one principal director who's kind of designed this. Each patch is subtly different. They have a different code, if you like, a different Braille for the brain code that changes the autonomic balance in a particular way. Now, if that sounds far-fetched, think about all the things that we do that actually use sensations to change our brain: hot, cold, a sense of if you're fearful, the hairs go up, don't they, on your arms, and you kind of feel sensations in your brain. We do know that there's a lot of vagus nerve stimulation from the body to the brain. The vagus is one of the most important nerves in your body. It's a parasympathetic nerve. It's part and parcel of your autonomic system. It's the one that's supposed to calm things down. But if your vagal tone isn't good, then you're not going to actually feel at rest or at peace. You're going to feel wired and tired most of the time. You're going to be on alert, like chasing the tiger, as it were. You're waiting for something terrible to happen. And this is the basis of chronic states of anxiety, inflammation, pain, and fatigue. So if we've got something that can directly intervene, that's drug-free, chemical-free, and as I say, relatively inexpensive, these patches, you get 28 in a bag and in a pouch, and it's a matter of 40 or 50 pounds. I don't know what that is in dollars, maybe 70 or $80. And that's a month's supply. You compare that with prescription drugs, which we do know have negative side effects. Look at the opiate crisis, for instance. If these had been invented 10 years ago, I don't think we might have had the opiate crisis that we have now, because there would have been an alternative. Having said that, the medical model is very much tied to pharmaceuticals, and so perhaps anything that threatens that is always difficult to sell. And in particular in the UK, where we have a nationalised health service, anything that's not available on the NHS is often regarded as wacky, dangerous, and not to be recommended. However, I have a more open mind. I'm willing to try something new. So I'm having a go. I'm wearing one now on my upper arm. That's usually the place we recommend, just because it's less likely to be knocked or, worn away. You wear it for 24 hours and then you replace with another one. I've tried 3 of the patches so far. I've tried the calm, joy, peace. It's called peace, but it's for calm. I've tried the freedom, which is for balance and stability, which is really key about helping you age well and helping you, maintain good health without falling. This is particularly important for older people. And I've also tried joy, which is about obviously increasing your sense of happiness, joy, positivity. Today I'm trying the Defend ones. That's the one I'm wearing right now, and this is to enhance your immune system. And just seeing, because I've got a number of things that I'm struggling with at the minute that suggest my immune system could be quite low, so I'm going to see if that helps. And I just want to kind of encourage you to be a bit more open and aware. If some of this technology sounds a bit far-fetched, I understand that. But that's because we don't have the mind-body connection model in the health service. And the fact that there is this bottom-up input to your brain from your viscera, from your body, from your skin, is not really well known. I mean, smoking patches use peripheral information, but they're using it chemically. This is an electrical, if you like, electrical signal that's opening ion channels in the cells, which changes the signaling up through your nervous system to your brain. And the ridges are really like a specific neural program. So that's why each patch is slightly different, and each pattern is a slightly different QR code. It's not really a QR code, but think of it that way. And there are ones for different scenarios. So if you've got sleep issues, there's a REM patch. If you want high performance, there's a victory patch. The Defend one, as I've said, is for inflammation and immunity. Freedom is for balance. And there's even ones for cravings and addictions, and that's the Kick It patch. And there are a few more as well, too numerous to mention. I will include the link to Superpatch in the description below if you're interested in investigating it. For those of us who have worked in holistic therapy and in natural medicine, naturopathy for years, this signals perhaps a new way of looking at health and well-being that we embrace fully, but the medical model may be a little bit more reticent about. And I understand that, but just try and keep an open mind, because some of these things could be the technology of the future. They could be the health intervention of the future. So changing the neurocode in your brain, doing it subtly while you're sleeping, even there's nothing for you to do. There's nothing for you to remember. You're not having to take loads of supplements, which can be a real burden to the liver if your energy systems are running low. And basically it gets on and does it without you having to intervene at all. You just put the patch on and reapply. Understanding how it works, there are more videos on their website, which again, I'll link in. But just to be aware, it is using established connections and technology that can be readily explained. And there are many different papers that have been written so far on this technology, submitted to peer-reviewed journals. That's why I'm willing to talk about it, because I don't do anything that isn't peer-reviewed. And I think it could be a real game changer. Let's see. It's certainly an alternative to some of the more difficult approaches, like going into a meditation program, for instance, which I've always struggled with. I don't know about you, but sitting still for an hour and doing regular meditation has always been really, really tricky for my nervous system, because it likes to be active. And so this, I can just go about my normal day and do my normal things and just observe the changes in me, if there are any. So far, so good. It's also, it's helping you to, in one of the patches, it's helping you to burn more calories. And so I thought that was a very interesting very interesting development, because we've seen the absolute explosion of weight loss drugs being developed and prescribed now in the UK and elsewhere, things like Ozempic, which we know and we're beginning to see have side effects. And therefore, although they seem like miracle drugs, I think we're going to see bone loss, bone density loss, particularly in women who take it. Don't quote me, but that's already happening. You can see it in the literature. Well, with this, I think it's a possibility to burn more calories because you increase your resting metabolic rate, your RMR. Okay, and that means even when you're not doing anything, you're burning more calories, which is what tends to go down as you age, and which is why people tend to get larger as they age. So if that could work, if this could ignite your RMR, and I think the Ignite is the name, and certainly it's worth checking out, isn't it? Any alternative to long-term drug taking is, in my book, a good thing. Something that works in a way that I can explain and understand through, this autonomic nervous system and its interaction with your hypothalamus and your pituitary and your adrenals. So helping to re-regulate your nervous system seems to me like something worth gambling. And yes, it's a very good bet, I would say. So, technology can be life enhancing. And my final note today is that YouTube, which I've been an advocate of for many years and have been recording these videos for probably about 5 years now, is being taken over. It's being taken over by AI. And unfortunately, it's happening very, very quickly and behind the scenes, and people don't realize. My first awareness of this was when I started to watch some videos about kind of reworking your brain and sort of self-development. And I started to see there were all these new channels that have just set up in the last 6 months with a voiceover and a video that usually there's nobody real behind the scenes. You're not seeing anyone talking. You're just hearing a voice and you're seeing these beautifully produced videos with captions. They're all over the place. And they do talk some really good sense because they're garnering information from established sources. I caught one yesterday that was based on Carl Jung's work. Okay, and if you're not careful, because it's in his voice, you think you are listening to Carl Jung. Now, obviously, he's been dead a while, but you think this is a real recording. It is not. It is an AI-produced voice clone of Carl Jung. And if you listen really closely, although it's pretty good, it uses the German accent, you'll see that the sentences don't always end properly and they tend to run on, and the intonation of the end and beginning of sentences is often not good. And so they tend to run in on each other. That's a definite clue that you're listening to a voice clone. I also caught one the other day that was Mel Robbins, supposedly. Started with "listen up, guys," which is the kind of thing she would say, and it is not Mel Robbins. Mel Robbins is only available on her channel. I am only available on my channel. We have to really guard against this because it is going to obliterate real content if we're not really careful. And as we see AI developing further and further, it is now even possible to clone an image of you talking. And so I'm going to just touch my plant here just to show you I'm a real person in a real room. And the way that you would tell is there's not much movement and sometimes the lip syncing isn't quite right. Okay, so beware when you're out there looking at other YouTube videos. If all you have is a voice, captions, and beautifully produced videos, suspect AI. These, I don't know who's behind them. I presume individuals are coming in on this because they can monetize very, very quickly. They're going up to tens or hundreds of thousands of people within a month or so because the content is really good, but it is not their content. And I really feel YouTube should potentially look at this because I think it's a real issue. And I think it's certainly an issue for those content creators who are producing real and innovative content like myself. So folks, if you're interested in coming onto the healing path, you want to work emotionally to heal, rebalance your nervous system, please find me on alchemytherapies.co.uk, or if you want to know more about my books, written by me, not by AI, you can go on to patriciawarby.com. Okay, well, lovely to talk with you again. Do check out the super patches, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye for now.